These should be the prison cells. Lots of empty cells in here. Dugier's probably moved them elsewhere all—
Let's still rescue the ones who got left behind, though. Every person counts.
Can we yank the needle, the thorn from this scalp while we're at it?
Hey, it's all right now. You can leave this place.
No, I won't try to leave anymore. I'll never try to leave again. So close to me. I don't want any trouble.
No, we're not gonna do that. Please calm down. We're not bad people.
We won't be able to get through to her right now. Not with the stress response in the way. I'd also guess there are many others here who are more or less like her. Let's let the guards take care of them for now and keep pushing forward.
Avis and Fasol are still in danger. I don't remember how to pronounce his name.
All right.
Avis mentioned it, but I don't
Let's search
remember.
for an exit first.
Hello. I'm so hungry. Okay. These are easy puzzles.
The door's open. Huh. Maybe it's his grace. I'll go take a look.
I leave this area to you. Make sure to bring everyone out safe.
Understood. And please take care as well, Your Grace. We'll return here right away and await your orders.
Just focus on the tasks you've been given. I already have reliable help over here. Let's go back.
That's me.
We have unfinished business, do we not? That mechanism from the first room. Maybe we'll also need to hold it in place using the same device to open the door that leads to the central area. Don't forget to bring these along.
Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse. I didn't use the other one, of course. Alrighty, so how are we solving this puzzle? We're trying to get that door open, correct? So, I don't want you to move. And I don't want you to move. I just want the other one to move. Boom. Let's go, Isley. It's open. Oh god, look at the gibbets. Holy shit, that's a lot of people.
I must confess to being furious. To think that there are still some of you who find it permissible to spit upon our rules.
And an Iron Maiden? Jesus.
Remember their names. Fasal and Avis. They've betrayed you, betrayed us. And today you will see with your own eyes what'll happen to those who betray our cause. Go on, Avis. Pierce his skull with the thorn in your hands, and then push in the Aqua Dolores. Of course, you will do it one drop at a time. Let it do its magic again, and don't stop until you've pushed all of it in.
Thistle, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll find a way to endure.
Oh, shut your wretched mouths! When did I give you permission to speak? My rules are the paramount law of this place.
I
Only
doubt
more
that,
pain
sir.
will come to those who dare to disobey.
That's enough, Dugier. Your rabid screams have been beyond nauseating.
Is that His Grace?
Oh, Risley. I knew you would come, but I didn't expect you to be so quick. Must you still refuse to let me be? Did I not spell everything out for you already? What's so blasphemous about sharing a slice of the cake with me when you've already got the entire fortress at your feet?
It would seem that you can't see the difference between sharing and looting. And on top of that, look at your people. Are they not starving as you wolf down your cake?
You. Stop acting all high and mighty like some hero of justice! Have you forgotten? Nobody in this blasted fortress is innocent! We are all irredeemable monsters who have destroyed something that others held dear. What's so wrong about punishing those who deserve to be punished? It's what they've always deserved. And please, are you really gonna tell me that you care about their lives and well-being when you just need a supply of labor to keep this place running? Is it that all you need to keep your cushy life?
Sadly, you're wrong on both counts. Unlike you, I've never seen them as currency. The fortress is not only a place for confinement, but also a place for rebirth. Just as people are free to give in to the darkness within their hearts, they are also free to seek redemption and a new beginning. Our bodies have limits, but our spirits will always remain free. They may have made mistakes, but they are still human beings with people and things that they cherish. And most importantly, they should always retain the freedom to choose their own path once they've reflected on their past misdeeds. But you're destroying their spirits with fear, taking their freedom away so that they'll become slaves who will never again feel or think. And you say that's what they've always deserved? You are nothing compared to them.
He's really mad.
He's really, really mad. Honestly, he's been keeping it in until now.
You think me arrogant, Risley. Well, I think you're too young and naive. You understand nothing of this world. Nobody actually sees this fortress as any kind of just a wonderful place.
Well, the people who live here
See
do.
it for what it is. A dumping ground of pain and misery, irredeemable now and irredeemable forever. No prisoner will listen to you out of gratitude of their hearts. The whip is the only way to make them obey. Had you been just one step slower, I would have already taken control of all the garden mechs in this place. Your vision gives you strength. But how long will it hold against these powerful constructs?
You talk big, but in the end, you know nothing outside of power and control. In that case, let me give you a small taste of what real power looks like.
The night is cold.
Strike a pose! Time to shine!
Settle down. Be sanctified.
Well, that was easy.
If you think fear can control everything, well then, terrify me.
Don't high road me. You're just another crook. And it's time you got treated like one.
How on earth did he get that contraband in here? And why are you such a terrible shot? He's not exactly that far away from you.
What's the matter? Too scared to shoot straight?
I'm warning you. Unauthorized punishment and torture are prohibited here. As the Duke, you should set an example.
Funny how that slipped my mind. Well, from this point on, you can forget about that rule. The rules of the fortress are there to keep the likes of you in check. But if the Duke wants somebody dead, he needs no justification. Understood.
We need more cutscenes in this game, honestly. Far more cutscenes. The guards rescue the society members who have been imprisoned at the true headquarters. Risley spends much time with each member, comforting them and extending his personal apologies. Following that, he makes arrangements for follow-up medical care and clean-up work. And thus does the Boreas Society debacle truly come to an end.
Sorry for taking so long. Did I keep you waiting?
No, not at all. Paimon didn't know you were so considerate.
If you ask me, I'd say I actually feel very helpless. There's no way that I could truly empathize with the fear that the members felt every day. I could comfort and compensate them all I want, but it might still not be enough to repair the damage that has been done. I have to take responsibility for it, as does the fortress.
At least you're able to stop it before it got any worse, right?
Yeah, it's the least that we could do.
So, do you have a plan for how you're gonna deal with him yet?
I like the idea of killing him.
Oh, Dugier? I've already got an idea.
Are you going to put some thorns into his head?
For now, I think I'll do nothing.
Huh? Why?
Because the fear that he'll do something is really strong and powerful.
I think it's a very fitting punishment for him to have to imagine the sorts of punishments that will soon be coming his way. He'll be left in the dark with regards to both the dates and the details of his punishment. Of course, that's not to say that I'll be letting him off scot-free. It's not often that I actually get the chance to be creative with my punishments.
Good for you.
I'm going to talk to the members of the society. He'll get a chance to experience everything that he's ever inflicted on them.
Good idea.
Paimon didn't know you could also be so harsh. Looks like she should watch her tongue when she's around you in the future.
Why do you think I'd do that kind of thing to you? You offend me, Paimon. Anyway, jokes aside, thank you so much for all of your help. There's still a lot for me to take care of, so how about this? I'll treat you to a meal in 2 days at the Coupon Cafeteria. We should have a better handle on things by then.
No, Paimon's had enough of that place.
Don't worry, it won't be the same old welfare meal. I'll make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, then you've got yourself a deal.
2 days? You know how painful it is waiting for 2 days? What time did it say? 11 till what? I may have gone too far. Wish you could cancel it once you start. It's so annoying that you can't.
Melusines are beautiful creatures.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They are the
It's a very specific time frame.
Be sure to be friendly.
No, the cafeteria's on the same level, isn't
Cause
it?
them no harm.
Ooh, it's a goddamn feast.
Ah, you're here.
Thanks, Wolseley. That was the chef's name, right?
Paimon never forgets about meals. Even if the traveler forgets, Paimon will remind her for
Wolsey?
sure.
Wolsey? You say that as if I haven't been feeding you or something.
That's not what Paimon meant at all. Risley, you got what Paimon meant, right?
I'm a little confused, actually.
Hey, not you too.
Jokes aside, I've got some good news. After taking a look, the doctors have let me know that it shouldn't be too difficult to extract the thorns, which means that everyone should be able to recover after a period of rest.
I'm surprised it didn't do more damage to their brains, quite frankly. Because we all know the damage that, a lobotomy can do to somebody with a needle placed through the eye socket. So obviously he's picking a different part of the brain and he doesn't really know what part of the brain he's picking. But that's very dangerous.
As for their mental recoveries, most are making good
Lasagna.
progress as well. We've added a few who were more severely affected to a special observation list.
You sure got everything taken care of, Risley.
But that's his job.
I try my best. After all, it's my duty to take care of everything that happens within my territory.
I have a question for you, actually.
Please, go ahead.
Your flashbacks when you picked up the gem. Your anger when you confronted Dugier.
Ah, that's a bit of a long story. I once had a similar experience. It had to do with the host family I lived with as a child. I was an orphan, adopted by a couple with a great deal of love in their hearts. I had many siblings, and we all adored each other.
How'd they have the money for this many
Once
children?
we were older, Mom and Dad would turn us over to be individually adopted by families of greater means, and go on to adopt more young children. They were perfect parents. Or so I thought.
And then?
And then, I found out we were merely raised as livestock. Once we had reached a certain age, our parents would bring us to the market for sale. All children that were sold would leave the house, and nobody would know what became of them. As for those who didn't sell, they were merely disposed of.
I'm sorry, but why wasn't his story quest about this? You could have had a quest line about people selling off children and followed that theme. Yes, it wouldn't have happened within the Fortress of Meropide, but maybe he could have gotten clues to start the quest in the fortress, and then he left the fortress to do investigating into this particular problem. And that would have been amazing. What a missed opportunity.
Did you know
Jesus.
I once considered myself an extremely lucky child? And all of my friends, all of my siblings, they all felt this way as well.
That's because you were one of the lucky ones. You got sold to a more advantageous position.
I was also not the first to find out about the truth. All those who found out before me were simply added to the disposal pile. I could never shake the feeling of irony every time I juxtaposed their tragic ends against our parents' adoring smiles.
That explains a lot.
Yes. Like the society, my parents created a facade of joy, lied to satiate their desires, and even employed incredibly cruel methods to keep their grasp on power. They did all of that, but never considered how their actions would utterly ruin all the children they took under their wing. Worse, perhaps they never cared about that at all.
I doubt they did.
But I did. So in the end, I killed them
Yay!
and set all of the remaining children free. I was convicted for my crimes and exiled to the Fortress of Meropide.
This is a great hero arc, guys.
My methods were extreme, yes,
Justified.
but I was still a teenager at the time. I'd been betrayed by those I trusted most, and I didn't think that more moderate ways would solve the problem.
Is it wrong of me to ask how you killed them? You were only a teenager at the time, so I imagine your creativity was somewhat limited.
My doubt and helpless anger pushed me forward until I got what I deserved.
I'm fine. That's great. I'm glad you got your revenge. Yeah, you.
It's all right. You don't have to tell me what you think.
I just did.
I've already committed to this path, regardless of what anyone may say about it.
I just told you what I thought about it. I thought it's fine. You served the punishment for having murdered people, and now you've learned and grown. Not that you really had much to learn and grow about, because, you know, you were right all along. And you found your place in society and a bettering society. Like, honestly, I have no judgment for you.
The least I can do is to make sure that the same tragedy will not happen again in my new home.
Sorry to disturb you, everyone.
Oh, it's Avis and Fasol. Are you two feeling better yet?
It was all because you arrived in time. I managed to escape unscathed.
I'm glad to hear it, and you have to wear those silly looking berets again.
We came here on impulse today because we were hoping that you'd be able to lend us a hand, Your Grace.
Because they actually want to create the society that they were representing.
Please, go on right ahead. I'll do my best to help. Within reason, of course.
It's...
Oh.
I'd like to be wedded to Avis here at the fortress.
My idea was way cooler.
You're getting married?
Yeah, we met each other through the society and both fell into Dugier's trap. But even during our time there,
Hair
we
is so
never doubted
yellow.
each other. We always believed that Dugier was manipulating us, trying to make us mistrust each other.
And I used to think that the traveler's hair was quite yellow. Oh no.
And after this incident, we've come to believe that we've found the one for the rest of our lives.
Which is great and all, but you've got to be slightly distrustful of love that blossoms through adversity. You know, when you watch those books read the books or watch the movies where, you know, romance blossoms during an action scene or like an action movie or book. You know, they've gone through hardships together but haven't actually lived day-to-day life together. Those loves don't really last that long. So although you're still in the prison and the situation's kind of still the same, it kind of isn't, because you no longer have the shadow of Dugier and the poison, I guess. I think you need to spend some time with each other without that kind of taint in your life, and then see where you are, rather than just skipping straight to marriage. But you know what? It's your lives, you do you. I'm sure divorce will suit you great.
You could say we managed to make the best out of a bad situation. He didn't abandon me, and I didn't forsake him either. But we're still both prisoners. And we also aren't sure if the fortress is the best place to host something so celebratory. So we are just wondering, is our request a bit too out of line?
You're right in that the fortress has never hosted a wedding before, but that's no reason to say no, is it? I'll help you make the arrangements. If you need anything special shipped in from the surface, just say the word.
Who's paying for this?
We can't thank you enough, Your Grace.
Who's paying for this? The fortress is poor, as evidenced by all the sections that had to be abandoned due to a lack of funds. Yet he's freely throwing around more for some random's wedding.
We are actually also planning to stay here after the conclusion of our sentences.
Yeah, we've already made tons of special memories here. So now it'd be too hard to leave.
They've got to be running out of space for all the people who want to stay here.
And we have full confidence in the fortress's future with you at the helm, Your Grace.
Your trust is the highest form of praise.
Hey, loosen up a bit. Shouldn't you be the happiest man in Teyvat to hear that people would like to stay of their own free will?
Yeah. I'll always take a genuine expression of faith over any obligation to obey.
Oh, that's it? Okay. I wouldn't say that I particularly enjoyed the story itself. Just because we get to spend more time with the characters does not mean that they're good stories. So while I enjoyed the time spent with Wriothesley, shut up, Rena, and I enjoyed, particularly towards the end, hearing more of his convictions when he was against Dugier, like, I really enjoyed that. That shone through really well, and I really enjoyed that. But it's not enough to overcome the fact that it was just a lame story overall, and the fact that it really, at heart, had nothing to do with Wriothesley. They tried to make it thematically match his own situation in the past, but I think it was quite clumsily done. And I don't think it was even remotely engaging enough to warrant an entire story quest over it. Like, really, the Beret Society? Like, seriously, go fuck off with that. I'm not interested in that kind of bullshit. I really, really think it would have been a far more engrossing story if it had so closely resembled his own situation. If he'd stumbled across clues in the fortress of people who'd been imprisoned along a similar vein. Either they were the ones perpetrating, people trafficking, or whatever it is we're calling it, or people who had been disposed of in that situation, who hadn't been killed but had been incorrectly guilty of something and forced to come into the fortress. And therefore he could get the breadcrumbs from them that there's a bigger conspiracy at foot, and he'd be more interested in it because it so closely resembles his past. And then we could go outside of the fortress and follow the threads and find this big, massive people trafficking conspiracy. That would have been an interesting story. What we have here right now really isn't that interesting. It was just very surface level. I didn't really find it very deep and meaningful. There are so many different ways. If we had to have this stupid story, there are other ways it could have gone to make it seem more epic. We could have capitalized more on the thorns in the brain. There's so much more we could have done with it than just the basic form we got. And it was just so uninteresting to get into. It really was. Oh, some guy is hiding in a box and is missing his hat. Okay, I'll go to the rag and bone shop and buy him a hat. And then it's just, the whole thing was it was such a sad start to a character story quest. It was weak from the start. I really think they need to refocus on what it is they're trying to achieve with these character stories. Because obviously my definition or interpretation of what they should be is vastly different from what Mihail's interpretation of what they should be is. Because as far as I'm concerned, These quests should give us deeper insight into the characters and get us to either learn more about their backstory or develop their own personality through events. And that's just not happening for most of them. So yes, at the very, very, very end, we get told by Ridley why he was imprisoned. But I don't want to be told that. I want to start to gather that kind of information myself, making these inferences from the actions he is...
Water comes in many flavored.
The actions he is doing, the things he is saying, you know, his emotions and motives behind things through the quest line. So I've started to come to this conclusion myself about him rather than, and then of course we can have him tell me to have it finalized, but just I'd rather have had foreshadowing and like glimpses so I can make that understanding myself rather than just being told at the end. It's yet another example of telling instead of showing, which Genshin unfortunately does a shit ton of, and I really wish they would stop doing it because it's really, really weak storytelling. So I think they need to reevaluate what these character stories are meant to do, because at the moment I don't think they're doing what they're supposed to do. If it was just you getting to spend time with a character, then do those lame-ass hangouts. This is an actual character story for a 5-star character, and I think they need to start giving it the attention and care that they deserve, rather than making them feel so pretty weak. That's what I'd like to say about that. So while it had vague bones of decentness, particularly towards the end, the entire first 3/4 was weak and boring, and I did not appreciate that. So I hope going forward that these stories are going to get better, because I really hate at the moment that they're very hit and miss with me. I think they need to just pull up their socks and be better. Before I forget, I'm going to go get my goddamn commission rewards. Otherwise I'm going to forget. So yeah. I was hoping for more. Catherine!
Ad Astra.
Thank
you
you.
for
No, thank you was my words. Get your own. Appreciate you.